If you hear a lawnmower, no, you don't. And before you say, "And why don't you just record later?" Well, my kids are at my parents' house, so like I'm wanting to take as much time as I can to like get the stuff that I can't do with them running around. So we're just gonna record now, and hopefully this mic doesn't pick up the lawnmower outside. Hi, my name is Anne. I'm an indie romance author, and I have my book out, Not Without You. It's on sale now at my shop, AnneCraneQuinn.etsy.com. It is a story about a bodyguard and a triad princess who start a relationship. So available now on KU, also on my shop, and also like wherever bookstores are sold. There's a whole list of all these great indie bookstores that I have my novel out on their shelves. You can check it out on this link right here that I'll leave below. So today we're going to talk about something that I've been anticipating for a while now. It is the cover reveal and the title reveal for Hiko's book. It's the second story of the Heartbound duology. I'm so excited to show you guys, and also talk about how I edit my novels. I'm sorry, you're shaking. There you go. Also about how I edit my novels. I've done this a couple times in the past with other stories, and it's worked overall, but this is something that I just want to share with you guys to the editing process, because I know it can get expensive, especially for new indie authors. So this is kind of my process, and hopefully it'll work for you. So yeah. So Not Without You, as you can see, it's a little more of like a purple indigo kind of coloring. And then the name used to be like vertical, and now it's all horizontal reading. And then also the symbol for my press house, VS Press House, is right there on the bottom. But the back material hasn't been changed. It was just the stuff that was on the spine that's been changed recently. So if you have a copy that doesn't have the press house logo, it's just an older copy. All the contents are the same, pretty much in terms of the story. And if you have this newer version, then I believe it should be here. The summary for the next book is actually here. However, I did release it on social media the day this version of the book started also going in print, so hopefully you didn't miss it. But I'm gonna read you the synopses anyway. So again, Not Without You, first book of the Heartbound duology, bodyguard romance. Are you ready? Ta-da! This is the second book of the Heartbound duology. This is Hiko's story, also known as Tell Me You're Mine. And it has an identical font family. Everything is, in terms of like the look, in terms of the fonts and like the placement of everything, is identical to Himeko's book. But yeah, here he technically, here he is. Now it is a very different color scheme, because technically this isn't a sequel. This is technically an interconnected standalone, but there are references from the events of the first book in this book. So I'll kind of just like go over the whole thing. They made a deal for 6 months, but love was never part of the bargain. So Tell Me You're Mine, and then the spine and the my name and the VS Press House is the same. And now you want to make sure that when you do these covers, that here is the front, and it reads like this with the because I have seen actually sometimes where people they start the title from the bottom and then go this way, but it's like, no, it's like this, guys. Here's the cover like this, and then in the back. So the back's in the first part in bold. It says, Hiko will do anything it takes to ensure his family's safety, even if that means proposing a marriage alliance with the most notorious crime family in Los Angeles. Hiko Zhao, the billionaire heir to his father's investment firm and underground empire. To strengthen his influence over Los Angeles, he proposes marriage to the daughter of the Tomotsu syndicate, Nana Tomotsu, the daughter of Los Angeles' strongest Yakuza family. Her sisters were placed in arranged marriages, and she hopes to avoid the same fate. However, Hiko Zhao comes calling. The arrangement is supposed to be business. However, the attraction is undeniable, and their desires burn for something beyond just a contract marriage. Tell Me Your Mind is book 2 of the Zhao Tun duology. There are references to events in book 1, Not Without You. However, Tell Me Your Mind is a standalone story. So that is the full synopsis. This is the full book. And I'm sure you can tell. So this is Not Without You. This is hitting 438 pages, I believe. When I was putting this into Ingram, it was 438 pages. This was hitting at 498. And that includes back matter and front matter and everything like that. But there they are together. Yes, there's a definite 60-page difference in both novels. So with Hiko's book, or Tell Me Your Mind, tropes, you've heard: marriage, convenience, contract marriage, billionaire romance, organized crime. The organized crime is a lot more in here than in the original or in the first book. So contract marriage, convenience, or if you want to call it like that, organized crime, billionaire romance. It's contemporary new adult, because they're roughly around 23 years old or something when this story first starts, or at least Hiko is 23 and Nana is 21. The cast is Chinese, Japanese, and then there are some cameos from other characters that were from the first book that show up also in this book. Now, in terms of color scheme, it's very summery. It's very like pink and orange. I'm hoping you can see that on screen. But yeah, it's very pink and orange. The wording is more on the kind of purple burgundy family side. Now, just like in Not Without You, where it's very much like the Nopaka is front and center, I decided to have cherry blossoms very front and center. It's very indicative to Japanese culture, so that's why I wanted to have the cherry blossoms on the front. And then I don't know if you can see, and hopefully you can, there you can see them in that light. You can see like the scalloping. It's also Japanese embroidery, like the kind you would find on like kimonos or sashes or obis and things like that. So I wanted to also have that print, or that's kind of represented somewhere in the on the cover. Now with the Zhao Tun duology, I had the same cover artist. You could probably tell because they are supposed to look very much like each other in a way. And my cover artist was also one of my alphas and one of my betas, essentially. One of my alpha betas, essentially. She knew Himeko and Hiko's personalities. And I honestly think what she thought of was very similar to like a yin yang principle. You've probably seen the symbol yin yang like everywhere. It comes from Taoism principles, essentially how like opposites exist in the world and they're interconnected and interwoven with each other for the sake of in existence. Himeko to her was very like ice princess personality. Hiko was very more sunshine kind of personality. So she kind of played that when she put these books together, or when she was creating the novels, because when we were creating Not Without You, we always had Tell Me Your Mind, even though it didn't have a title at the time, but we all called it Hiko's book. Like we always had Hiko's book in mind when it came to designing Himeko's book. So it had the principles of opposites but complementary at the same time. So like feminine dark energy, and then masculine light energy. That's kind of the principles of yin yang, essentially. So, or like very bare bone ideas of yin yang. So we always knew that they were going to complement each other, but also be be different. So in terms of complementary, their font families are the same. The formatting in the back is the same. Center justified and things like that. Oh, and also like the theming of like using flowers as the front. So yeah, there you go. There they are. There's the twins all together. Also, something you have to know about Tell Me Your Mind is that the first couple chapters actually overlap Not Without You. And when I mean that that I actually wrote in a tandem guide. And like, for example, the first 25 chapters, Not Without You, you read those as is, and then you can read the Tell Me Your Mind prologue. And then after that, you read Not Without You, chapter 26. And then after that is Tell Me Your Mind, chapter 1, Not Without You, chapter 27, Tell Me Your Mind, chapters 2 through 4. Like, the first, I would say, the first 6 chapters of this book, it actually overlaps the last 6 chapters of Not Without You. So, I mean, you can read all of Not Without You on its own and then start reading this right away, and then you'll probably, know the difference, or like you can kind of like correlate like where they push in or where they pop in. But if it's been a while and you're planning to reread Not Without You anyway, you could wait for this if you want. Who knows? But yeah, it's all up to you. Some people want to do tandem reads. Some people just don't. They just want to finish one book first and the other, and that's totally fine. It's totally based on what you want to do. But yeah, just so you know, there is a tandem read in here. There also is. I also use a lot more Japanese words to feel more authentic to their characters, such as like titles, how to say like mother, father, the titles of the crime organization hierarchy. They're all in a glossary in the front. You don't have to read it, but if you want to, it's there. You first see the names or the words that are Japanese, Chinese, or Hawaiian. They are italicized the first time they show up in the novel, and then afterwards they are just woven in as if they're regular dialogue in regular standard font. And then of course also a playlist, of course. So this time we're going to talk about how I edited Hiko's book. This is a process that was kind of lengthy, honestly. It's probably way longer than it needs to be, but I am a one-woman show. Well, not really. I would say I am limited on funds, so this is how I do it. First off, I usually just finish the first draft. It takes me about 6 to 9 months, depending on the story, 6 to 9 months to finish a novel, and I usually go in one straight go. Like, I may take a break, like maybe a 1 week break or a 2 week break, because I'm like either hit writer's block or I'm tapped out or something, like mentally and emotionally, so I need to recharge. But once I finish the first draft, then I don't touch it for a whole month, and I almost like forget what the hell I wrote. And then after that month, I go back. And then I start doing my own developmental edits. Sometimes I write notes of like, look up this. And then like I have to now Google something, and then I look up, because I'm afraid that if I look something up while writing, then I'm going to lose the groove of writing. So then, I would say like expound on this, look up this, or something like that. And then I put it in later during my developmental edit session. This is my developmental edit session. This is just me this is after I've already talked to like my betas and alphas, because when I beta alpha, I usually just do more discussion of like, this is what's happening so far, blah blah blah, what do you think about this, and then it's more of an organic discussion rather than reading the novel. So then after I put in my developmental edits, then I send it off to other developmental editors. One of them is usually my cover artist, usually. And then what they do is they come back to me and just tell me certain things that like didn't make sense, like continuity issues more of anything, in terms of character development, of like what's believable, what's not, based on the character that I've established. Any major plot holes that I need to put in, that I need to fill in, then I'll edit those, and then that takes me usually another week. And with them, because they're not doing really hard editing in terms of like really nitpicky editing, it usually only takes them like a week or two to finish. So my developmental editing plus the others' developmental editing, that usually takes about 2 months total, maybe. And then after I finish all those, then I send them out to line editing. Now the line and copy editor for this novel was Holly from Bird and Bear Editorial Services. and she was really great to work with. In terms of pricing, she's in the middle of the market, but she was really great to work with, and we had a lot of open communication about how to address certain things, and I actually hired her again because I liked her work so much. I hired her again. This kind of editing was the one that cost me the most money, just because it is the most, because usually developmental editing is the most costly because it is like story development related, but because I didn't hire anyone for that, I had like fellow authors or fellow writers look at it. It didn't cost me too much, but then afterwards, so then Holly sent me, it took her about 2 weeks, so then she sent me the novel and then put in a bunch of suggestions, and some questions. So for clarification purposes, I sent her questions and clarifications and everything back. She looked at the things that I readdressed, and then that was it. That was it. I think the total work that she did took only about 3 weeks. That's with her editing the novel and then me editing the bits and then going back to her. It could have taken a little longer if I took my time with getting back to her, but I really wanted to have stuff finished in a timely manner for her while the story was still fresh in her head. So I just wanted to go send it back to her really quick, and then she was able to send me the final edits. So that took her about, I would say, 3 weeks. And then after that, I changed all the edits that she did, and it was everything. I mean, like, it was capitalization, it was word placement, and even the conceptual edits, things like how, like, I addressed so-and-so this way, but then the next line, he said he was addressed this way for consistency purposes. Which one do you want? Things like that. So I accepted all the edits, and then I took another 2 weeks off of looking at that. I did convert the files into EPUB. You can do that either on Atticus or Vellum. I don't have any of those programs. I really want to one day, but for now I don't have those programs. So what I did is I used like Kindle Create, or you can also use the Draft to Digital program that they have on their online site. So I converted everything into an EPUB file, and then I uploaded it on my Kindle. So by the time I made the EPUB file, it was like March 10, and then I put the EPUB file into my own Kindle. I sent it to my Kindle, and then I didn't look at it for a whole month. So then I looked at it while on the flight to Japan, because I did go to Japan in April. So like mid-April, I went to Japan. So while I was on the flight, I was reading, and this is proofreading now. Because when I was proofreading, I did notice a couple of funky spaces and like a couple of funky punctuations that I missed. And the reason why I proofread on my Kindle is because I want to see the experience as a reader. And there are times when you're reading on a Kindle. Well, a lot of people are reading on a Kindle. So I especially like doing this on Kindle because, one, I also want to see if like the texts are going to get messed up every time I make them bigger. Like, is the spacing going to get funky? I read in dark mode. That's just how I work. I usually read like on size 4, size 5, but like this is size 7. Because Kindle is a reflowable text, I want to make sure that everything looks good regardless of text size. So then if I see like an error or something, what I do is I just highlight it on the Kindle like how you would normally, and then like I would write a note, or I would just write a note and then like say like double space or something, and then I go back to the file. Once I'm done with this, then I go back to the file and then I double check everything. I go into like all my highlights and annotations, and then I'll go through and edit it on the actual Word document. So funny thing is though, I got the print version yesterday. So I got 2 copies. One is for my cover artist so she could double check everything. But she looked at it and she's just like, I'm fine with the color choices, because sometimes the color profiles on a computer will look different on the monitor than it will be an actual print. Sometimes it does happen, but she was concerned that it was going to read too autumnal, but I was like, no, it actually reads more like summer orange sherbet. So I think it's fine. So anyway, but as you can see, I'm already tabbing a bunch of stuff that I want to change in the print version, which is kind of redonkulous. Like for example, like here, between the text messages, there's like the spacing is a little too funky, like a little too narrow between the different text messages. So I'm going to have to change that. Oh, I forgot one of the songs in the playlist. I need to make sure it's in the Kindle file as well. So I have to basically go over this and just for the final file before I send this out to like the PR people, which by the way is my next point. So Not Without You is going to have a pre-order campaign. It's going to start as early as mid-June. I'm recording this now June 1st. So by mid-June, the 2 stores that will have a pre-order campaign for Tell Me Your Mind is the New Romantics out in Orlando, Florida. That is the first store that Not Without You was put on a bookshelf. So I wanted to continue my relationship with them, especially because, you know, I'm here in Central Florida area. And then also Heartbound Books in Anaheim, California. Those are the 2 stores. So when they announce, so follow my socials at Annie Corinne Quinn. I have it on my I'll announce it on my Instagram, and you will see when the their pre-order campaigns start. They usually started somewhere around 1 to 3 months prior to release. This book is coming out September 2nd, 2025. Follow my socials and I'll be able to tell you when the pre-order is going to be public for those stores. You're definitely going to get the novel. You're also going to get a bookmark that I drew and designed, and also a sticker that I designed. I don't know, you may have seen it, but the sticker that I have on my phone for the past couple months is the sticker that's coming with it. And if you're wondering, why is the sticker a pickup line? Well, I love Hiko. That's all. I don't know what else to tell you. It's a reference to the book. That's all I'll say for that for now. And then also continue to follow my socials, because this is going to be available for early ARC readers. I will say probably in August. Torchlit Inc. They are the ones who are going to be managing the ARC releases, and they're going to be eARCs only, so they're only going to be the Kindle or the ebook version, the EPUB versions, but they are the one who are managing the ARCs. So stay tuned for everything, because this summer is going to probably go a lot faster than I anticipate. Anyway, I think that'll end the vlog here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.